Okay, John, the Tropical Forest Group, we were talking about the data. The data exists in tropical forests, but difficulties, or you're trying to find the best ways to implement that data in connection with the climate change debate.
That's right, yeah. There's a lot of money that's being put on the table for REDD, $4 billion over 3 years. It's a significant increase in funding. But one of the novelties of REDD is that you're supposed to be able to show that rates of deforestation and carbon emissions are actually coming down. And so that data is out there. We can actually tell how much carbon there is in a forest and whether that forest was probably going to be cut down. But the data is kind of very difficult for a lot of countries to grasp. You have to have very technical people for geographic information systems, various equations. So we've put together a proposal for a course where we'd have about 25 to 50 developing country and developed country experts come in for sort of advanced training, where you grab remote sensing images from satellites and you dock it with field measurements on the ground, and be a way to sort of share information and share learning so that we can get it out of the countries and the projects and back to this UN process, and sort of facilitate how you align finance with reductions in deforestation.
Because presumably until you can do that, until you can find ways of using your data to the best possible effect, you're not going to solve the problems in the tropical forests, I imagine.
Absolutely. The bottom line is there's still a fair amount of distrust after Copenhagen about, well, if we're going to give a bunch of money, where's it going to go? And so the real idea with this course and sort of bringing experts together and getting the data managed is that we can show if a donor gives a developing country, Nigeria or Uganda, some money, then the information's out there. The problem is there's a real bottleneck in terms of capacity for how people can handle that data that's fairly complicated, and then turn it back into a story that says we did reduce deforestation, we did reduce this amount of emissions.
And how does being here at COP in Durban, how does that help you push that process forward?
It's a really good question, because the process here for REDD has to do a really important thing, and that is it has to set these reference levels. It's kind of a technical term, but it's kind of the underpinnings of the promise and excitement about REDD, which is we want to compensate countries for getting lower emissions and lower deforestation. The problem is the negotiators haven't really figured out how to set those reference levels or the baselines of deforestation. So part of our work here is to educate the negotiators that we can get the data out there. They do need to set those reference levels, and it provides a benchmark for how these countries can cooperate together.
You're also working in tropical forests in post-conflict zones. What are the problems that they face in those areas?
Well, it's different in every area. Our group has focused our interventions in terms of providing some money or support to grow trees or save trees. And we focus on post-conflict zones. So we've worked in northern Sumatra with the government of Aceh, southern Ethiopia, and we have a project in northern Uganda where we've leveraged some small monies for basically refugee camps in northern Uganda. These are victims of the Lord's Resistance Army, some of the baddest guys on earth who grab women and girls and boys and turn them into soldiers, rape them, cut their arms and faces. And we've been able to get some small monies, a couple tens of thousands of dollars, to help with some agroforestry projects. And then we also go in and sort of do some training about how you measure the carbon again, and sort of show, hey, with these small interventions, we can actually, make a difference for climate, but also have a pretty profound impact in some of the most difficult places on Earth.